Hello, good morning. Mass media have a tremendous impact on the structure and history of our society. They can influence and shape public opinion, determine political agendas, affect socialization, and create a relationship between people and government. Mass media is a communication, whether written, broadcast, or spoken, that reaches a large number of audience. This includes newspapers, magazines, television, radio, advertising, movies, the internet, social media, and so forth. It is a significant force in modern culture, particularly a democratic country like ours. The mass media have become an inseparable part of society and the lives of citizens, and that's why it is necessary to understand the mass media influence on people. From economy to entertainment, from politics to beauty, everything is now influenced by mass media. In order to throw more light on this significant issue, the Department of Journalism of Jayanagar National College has organized a talk and interaction program on impact of mass media on society. Today we are very fortunate to have with us a senior and most experienced professor in journalism and media studies, Dr. B.K. Ravi, former registrar of Bangalore University and chairman, Department of Communication, Bangalore University, to talk and interact with the students on this topic. Let us begin this program with an invocation by our students. I invite Suvi, Bharat, Nayana, Chinmayi, Krishna, and Gaurav on the stage for invocation.
Okay. Krishna. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಾ. ಕೌಂಟ್. ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಈರುಳಿನ ಒಡಲಿಗೆ ದೂರದ ಕಡಲಿಗೆ, ಈರುಳಿನ ಒಡಲಿಗೆ ದೂರದ ಕಡಲಿಗೆ. ಮುಳುಗಿದಂತೆ ದಿನ ಬೆಳಗಿದಂತೆ ಹೊರಬರುವನು ಕೂಸಿನ ಹಾಗೆ. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಜಗದ ಮೂಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಗಿಸಿ ಬಿಡುವನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಯ ಸರಕು. ಜಗದ ಮೂಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಗಿಸಿ ಬಿಡುವನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಯ ಸರಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದರ ಗುಣದೋಷಗಳಂಟಿಸಿ ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟ ತೊಡಕು. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಗಿಡದಿಂದುದುರುವ ಎಲೆಗಳಿಗೂ ಮುದ ಚಿಗುರುವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದೇ ಹದ. ಗಿಡದಿಂದುದುರುವ ಎಲೆಗಳಿಗೂ ಮುದ ಚಿಗುರುವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದೇ ಹದ. ನೆಲದೊಳಗಿನೊಳಗೇನು ನಡೆವುದೋ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಳಿತಿಹನು ಕಲಾವಿದ. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಈರುಳಿನ ಒಡಲಿಗೆ ದೂರದ ಕಡಲಿಗೆ, ಈರುಳಿನ ಒಡಲಿಗೆ ದೂರದ ಕಡಲಿಗೆ. ಮುಳುಗಿದಂತೆ ದಿನ ಬೆಳಗಿದಂತೆ ಹೊರಬರುವನು ಕೂಸಿನ ಹಾಗೆ. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಹೂವು ಹೊರಳುವವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಡೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾರಿ ಬರಿ ಚಂದ್ರನವರೆಗೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you. Now I request our principal, Dr. Y.C. Kamala, to welcome and introduce the chief guest.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಜ್ವರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಅಂದಾಗ ಪಾಪ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೈತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು. ಭಾಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಆನ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಸಮೂಹ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳ ಪ್ರಭಾವ, ಸಮಾಜದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಮೂಹ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಭಾವಕ್ಕೆ ತಿಳಿದೆಯೋ ಒಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ನಿಮಗರಿವಿಲ್ಲದಂತೆ ನೀವು ಅದರ ಪ್ರಭಾವಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಅಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಮೂಹ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ನಮ್ಮ ಬದುಕನ್ನು ಆವರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಬಹಳ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 4 ಜನ ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಬಹಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಿದ್ದಾಗ 50 ವರ್ಷದ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪುರುಷರಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ 4 ಜನ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಮನೇಲಿ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಪ್ಪಳ ಹಾಕುವಾಗ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡೋರು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಈಚೆಗಡೆ ಗೇಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು 4 ಜನ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರೆಕಾಯಿ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಪ್ಪಳ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಹೂವು ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವತ್ತಿನ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆ ಮಾಡೋರು. ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ ನಾವು ಇದು ಬರೀ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. ಆನಂತರದ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಸೇರಿ ಕಲಿಯೋದಾಯಿತು. ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮುದ್ರಣ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಈ ಪ್ರಸಾರಕ್ಕೆ, ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಪ್ರಸಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಆಯಾಮ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಆನಂತರದ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫ್. ಈಗ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದು ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯವಾಗುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಸುಲಭವಾಯಿತು. CV ರಾಮನ್ ಅವರು ಅವ್ರ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪೇಪರನ್ನು ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫಲ್ಲೇ ಕಳಿಸಿರೋದು ನೇಚರ್ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಮೂಲಕ. ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಫ್ ನಂತರ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಆಪ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಫೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಆಯಿತು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಆನಂತರ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಗೆ ಬಂದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಗೆ ಎಟುಕುವಂತಾದಾಗ, ಕೈಗೆ ಬಂದು ಮಾತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವಾಗ 7 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಿತ್ತು. ಈಗ 200 ರೂಪಾಯಿ 300 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ 2 GB 3 GB ಪರ್ ಡೇ ಡಾಟಾ ಸಿಕ್ಕುವ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅದು ಬರೀ ಫೋನಾಗಿ ಉಳಿದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದು ವಾರ್ತಾ ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಮಾಡುವುದಾಗಿದೆ, ಅದು ಗಲಾಟೆ ಹಚ್ಚುವ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮವೂ ಆಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಹೊಸ ಆಯಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೊಸ ಎತ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ವಿಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ನಾವು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಸಮೂಹದ ನೆಲೆಯಿಂದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗತ ನೆಲೆಗೆ ಈಗ ವರ್ಗಾವಣೆಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ನ ಒಂದು ವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾದ ಆಯಾಮಗಳು. ಅವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಮಾಜದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಎಳೆಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಿಡಿಸಿಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ BK ರವಿ ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹಳ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾದಂತಹ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅವರು. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಅವರು he is the professor chairman at the Department of Communication, Bangalore University in Gnan Bharati campus. And he has worked there for 30 years of teaching and research. He has 30 years of teaching and research experience. During his academic tenure, he has presented research papers in India and abroad, including USA, Poland, Japan, Morocco, New Zealand, Kenya, Qatar, Thailand, Malaysia, Canada and China. ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋತ್ ನಾರ್ದರ್ನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸದರ್ನ್ ಹೆಮಿಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಟ್ರಾಟ್. He has published articles in international research journals, guided 8 students for doctoral studies, and adjudicated many theses for national and international universities. This sentence defines his content and the greatness. So he has guided 8 research students and he has adjudicated many theses for national and international universities. He has chaired nearly 14 scientific sessions at international conferences in different countries. B.K. Ravi was on the scientific committee of the first international forum on media and information literacy, constituted jointly by UNESCO and University of Fez, Morocco, Africa, where he chaired a session on media and information systems, worldwide critical analysis, and also presented a paper titled Information Literacy and Theory of Out of Reach. Outreach is different, out of reach is different. Professor Ravi was an invitee to the prestigious international workshop on broadband policy held in 2012 at Washington, D.C. So this shows he has been an invitee at various universities in various countries in both east and west and north and south regions of the globe. Professor Ravi has given 67 radio talks. ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಟಾಕ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ನಿಜವಾಗೂ ಒಂದು ಕಲೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಪದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆರ್ಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ 20 ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ರೇಡಿಯೋ. He has done 20 productions. His television documentary Pelicula has bagged the prestigious Documentary Award 2015. Needs your applause. Okay. Dr. Ravi, well-acclaimed television documentaries are Wonders of Karnataka, Making of National Flag, etc. Professor Ravi was invited to deliver a special lecture on Indian media industry in Bridgewater State University, USA in November 2013. He is the member, National Executive Council and former chairman of Public Relations Council of India, Karnataka chapter. He is the president of Karnataka Journalism and Communication Teachers Association. He is the Secretary General of National Council India of Asia Communication and Media Congress, held at Philippines. And he is also the advisory board member of Global Communication Association, Greensboro, North Carolina, USA. Recently, his book on political communication, entitled Modern Media, Elections and Democracy, was published by Sage Publications. Professor Ravi was the registrar of Bangalore University and as the member, Karnataka State Commission of Backward Classes. Presently, he is the professor and chairman of Department of Communications, Bangalore University. Looking at his CV, he has grown in all the dimensions. That gives us a picture. As a teacher, he is a very good teacher. As a researcher, he is a very good researcher. As a guide, he has guided. As an author, he has published books. He has given public talks. He has associated himself with international organizations and many more. This seems to be very brief introductory note of Professor Ravi. Actually, it runs into few pages. When we invited Professor Ravi, he accepted our invitation and he has graced the occasion today to deliver the lecture. Sir, we are very happy to have you. On behalf of National Education Society of Karnataka, on behalf of National College Jayanagara, Department of Journalism, and all of you, I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. Department of Journalism of National College Jayanagar always organizes very good programs. Every semester, they organize very good programs. They prepare documentaries, which you are going to see later, as a practical aspect for the students. The department is headed by Mr. Jayasimha. He was a practicing journalist as well, and now he is heading the Department of Journalism of National College, Jayanagar, and is giving a very good directions and also delivering a very good quality lectures to our students and taking them and showing them the new directions and also giving them a very good experience in learning journalism. So today, it's my pleasure to welcome Professor Jaisimha for this program. We have with us our Vice Principal, Professor Bellat sir. He is the backbone. He is behind the screen. He will be doing all the works for you. So I also welcome Professor Bellat sir. He is the head of the Department of Physics and also Vice Principal of National College, Jayanagar. I welcome Mr. Prashant of Department of Journalism for the program. All the teachers who have come to the program, and the program is for you. Okay? I welcome one and all of you for this program. Wishing all the best for the program, I conclude my welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Before I request Dr. B.K. Ravi, former registrar and professor, chairman of the Department of Communication, I would like to announce our secretary may join any time. Then we are planning to release a small documentary on this same subject that will be released by him. Now I request Dr. B.K. Ravi, a registrar and professor and chairman of the Department of Communication, Bangalore University, to speak on the topic Impact of Mass Media on Society. Over to Dr. B.K. Ravi.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Y.C. Kamala, the principal of the National College, Jayanagar. Shri H.C. Bellad, the vice principal. Dr. Jaisimha, the head of the Department of Journalism, National College. Prashant, my dear teachers, and my dear students. And this is not the first time I am visiting this college. I think last time also, as the registrar of Bangalore University, I think I delivered a lecture in this college. And National College, Jayanagar, you have an excellent department headed by Dr. Jaisimha. And I think the alumni of this department, they are placed very well. And I think a lot of students have joined our department also. And now they have joined the media industry, and they're working very successfully in different media organizations. I think I should thank Dr. Kamala for her excellent introduction. Madam, she is an expert in science communication. I think recently when we organized an international conference on science communication, I think she was our resource person. And Department of Communication, Bangalore University, we were the first to start a course in science communication, as well as we also used to organize workshops for journalists on science communication, because there are very few people who are in a position to contribute to the media. Especially writing science is a challenge, but we want our students to contribute more on science related subjects. So today's topic is impact of mass media on society. It's a very vast subject. I think it takes quite a lot of time, and since majority of you are from journalism background and some of you are from non-journalism background, I hope all of you know about the media. Whenever we talk of print, we will be talking of newspapers and periodicals. Whenever we talk of electronic media, we will be talking of radio and television. You know the film medium, you know the new media, the social networking sites. I think you also know the traditional folk media, which is very, very important. So media, we cannot imagine a day without the media consumption. All of us, we are all exposed to media, which is a very important concept. But basically, what are the functions of media? Media performs three functions. Media educates, media entertains, and media informs. These are the three functions of media, as all of you know. And the greatest limitations of media, whenever we talk of print, we have the limitation of space. Whenever we talk of electronic media, even film, we have the greatest limitation of time. And if you just look into the status of Indian media industry, I think from the past 2-3 decades, if you just look into the reports, the latest reports, if you just the post-independent scenario, pre-independent scenario, and after the concept of globalization, where exactly we stand, what exactly has happened after 90s, and how technology, I think Madam made a very important point when she explained how technology transformed the media and its content. So if you just look into the latest data, if you just look into the status of Indian media industry, I will just give you the data up to 2019, because after COVID-19, even Indian media industry has suffered a lot. Before the entry of the transnational media, we never used to call Indian media as an industry. All students of journalism should know this. It's a very important point. After independence, the contribution of media for the field of development is something great. It was never considered as an industry. It was never considered as profit or loss making business. But once, after globalization, after the entry of satellite communication, after the entry of transnational television and other media companies, and even after liberalization of foreign direct investment, we have what is called the FDI. Unfortunately, we started the commercialization, privatization of Indian media. We were forced to call this as an Indian media industry, which became a profit and loss making business in the country. This is just for your information. But in spite of all these things, media is very, very important. You can't ignore media. Can you imagine a day where we will shut down all TV channels, all mobile companies will be asked to shut for 24 hours, no radio, no newspapers, no internet? What will happen? Can you imagine a day? Can you ever imagine a day without media? No. At every point of time, we depend upon media. Why media is considered very sacred? A lot of our journalism students, after getting their graduation, they enter the media. But you should know why. Why a profession in media? Why media is considered very sacred is because we are in the noble job of disseminating information. ಕನ್ನಡ ಹುಡುಗರು ಭಾಳ ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು ಇದನ್ನು. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪಾವಿತ್ರತೆ, ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಟಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ. ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಬಹುಶಃ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಹುಡುಗರು ಇದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಚುಚ್ಚು ಕನ್ನಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸುವಂಥ ಪದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಪಾವಿತ್ರತೆ ಯಾಕಿದೆ? ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋರು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಯಾಕೆ ಸಮಾಜ ಗೌರವಿಸುತ್ತೆ? ವೇರೆವರ್ ಯು ಗೋ, you just say if you are a reporter, if you are a journalist, if you are a TV journalist, everybody will respect you. Why? Do you have special powers? Do you have a special status? No. Media is considered sacred because media is in the major job of disseminating information. Media gives you entertainment. Media educates you. This you should, at every point of time, you should never forget. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥವರು ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಜನಸಮುದಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ತಲುಪಿಸುವ ಪವಿತ್ರವಾದ ಕಾರ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನ, ವಿಶೇಷ ಗೌರವ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲುಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ functioning of media, I think if you go through the data and the statistics up to 2019, we have what is called the Cumulative Average Growth Report. We call it a CAGR report. If you just look into it, I think the total turnover of Indian media industry up to 2019, I think we had crossed more than 3,000 trillion rupees. up to 2019. But after COVID, I think we had quite other problems. And we are dominating the globe. This you should never forget. Indian media, we are very strong in entertainment industry. Even Indian cinema, we are dominating the global cinema. Nobody can match a film produced by Bollywood today. Earlier we had the competitors from United States of America, we had the competitors from China, we had competitors from Japan, Korea. Now, including United States of America, they are in a big queue to invest in the Indian-based companies, in the entertainment industry, almost including China, including Korea, Japan, France, Germany, especially United States of America. Maybe around 7-8 years ago, when I used to deliver lectures, regularly I deliver lectures in United States, a lot of universities in USA. Whenever I used to tell them, in India, we have more than 1.5 times more television channels in India. An American citizen was not in a position to believe. My dear friends, please take it from me. Today, 18th May 2022, we have double the numbers of television channels which United States of America has. And the Hollywood, which the films which they produce, they are nowhere near to Indian cinema. Which means to say that we are dominating the global media at any point of time. Please don't forget it. Japan has missed its entertainment engine. China, all your kung fu karate has gone. Your American animation, Mummy, Gimme, Jurassic Park and all these things have disappeared. It is only the Indian media, especially the entertainment industry. We are on the top. But what will the media, what will be the impact of media on the society? It's a very serious and a very important subject that we need to think about. There's a necessity to discuss. Now you know the functions of media, you know the limitations of media, and what are the strengths of media? What are the other potentials of media? ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಬಲಾಬಲಗಳೇನು, ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಏನು? ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂಥ, it has an enormous capability of reaching each and every individual at every point of time. Because tomorrow something happens, you do not know whether you have college or not. Who will give you the information? Do you expect all the professors and the principals and all the teachers to call each and everybody? Keep on calling everybody, how much time will it take and how will you get the information? You have to depend upon media at every point of time. Not only for a holiday, for anything. There are quite a lot of occasions of that kind. Then why we depend upon media? What are the strengths of media? You have to very clearly understand the strengths of media. The first strength of media is, it not only disseminates information, media has the capability of molding public opinion. ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನು ರೂಢಿಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದ ಪಾತ್ರವನ್ನು ವಹಿಸ್ತದೆ. Whether you may like it or not. How do you define an advertisement? Advertisement is a permissible lie ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅನುಮತಿ ನೀಡಲಾಗಿರೋ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಏನು? Whether you may like it or not, if I go on telling you, media has the capability to influence on the thinking behavior of an individual. ಯಾವುದು ಸರಿ ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡುವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಯೋಚನಾ ಲಹರಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ತನ್ನ ಛಾಪನ್ನು ಮೂಡಿಸುವ ಮಹಾನ್ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಇನ್ ಎ ಡೆಮಾಕ್ರೆಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಟಪ್. ಇದು ಸರಿನಾ ತಪ್ಪಾ? ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಗುಂಡಿ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿರಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. Whenever media tells you, automatically, because you might have forgotten, ಭಾಳ ಗುಂಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ದಡ್ಕಂದು ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ನನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೋದ್ರೂ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಜಾಮು, ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಗುಂಡಿ ಇದೆ. Who will tell you? There are a lot of gundis and how many deaths have happened because of your pits and whatever BBMP people are doing. See, molding public opinion. If you ask a citizen of Bangalore city today, he will tell us, hey, what is this BBMP doing? I say, ನೀರೆಲ್ಲ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗೆ ನುಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, what are they doing? Now, how will you get that idea? It is the media which is capable of molding public opinion, this at every point of time. Please don't forget. The second thing is, the most dangerous part. Media has the capability of making people imitate. ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಆಕಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲೋ ಅಣ್ಣ, ಯಾಕೋ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತನಪ್ಪ, ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಮೇಷ್ಟ್ರು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕಳಿಸ್ತೀರ ನಂಗೆ ಕಾಣದ್ ಕಣ್ರಪ್ಪ. ನನಗೆ ಅದೊಂದು ದೇವರು ವರ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ನಿದ್ರಾದೇವಿ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಕಾಣೋದು ನಿದ್ರಾದೇವಿ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಿಟಕಿಯಿಂದ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಲು ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನು ಸರ್ ಕೆಲವ್ರು ಬಾಯಿ ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಆಕಳಿಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾಕೋ ತುಗುಡಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಸರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನಿದ್ರಾದೇವತೆ ನನ್ನ ಒಬ್ಬಳಿಗೆ ಕಣಪ್ಪ ಹೊರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು, ಅದಾರಪ್ಪ ಬಾಯಿ ತಕ್ಕಂಡು ಟಣ್ಣಂತ ಆಕಳಿಸ್ತಾವನೆ. ನೀನು ಆಕಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ನಾಳೆ ನೀನು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ಹುಡುಗ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ದೇರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ 2-3 ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ನನಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ನಿನಗೆ ಈ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಏನೋ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಳೆಗಿಳೆ ಅಂತ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನೋ, ದೇರ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್. ಸಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆನ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸಿ. So the second major strength of media, the potential of media is, media can make people imitate. ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಮಹಾನ್ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್? Your dress culture, your language, your thinking behavior, your food habits, your weight, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಹಂತದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ. ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಡ್ರೆಸ್? ಹೂಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಯು ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಕರು ಯಾರು? ಯಾವುದೋ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಎ ಹೀರೋ ಆರ್ ಹೀರೋಯಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಆರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎ ಟಿ ವಿ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್. What is your hairstyle? See, in 50s and 60s, 70s, we used to have a very big concept of bell bottom. Later on, we started having our Mulangi pant. M.G. Ramchandran, Rajkumar, they used to wear Mulangi pant anta. ಟೈಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಟೈಟ್ ಇರೋದು, ಅದು ಭಾರಿ ಫೇಮಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಮೂಲಂಗಿ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಲ್ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಬಂದು, ಬೆಲ್ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಕಸ ಗುಡಿಸೋದೇ ಬೇಡ, ಅದೇ ಕ್ಲೀನಾಗಿ ಕಸ ಗುಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋವಂಥ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟು, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಬೆಲ್ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್. ದಟ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 1 decade. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹರೇ ರಾಮ್ ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ, ಯಾರು ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜುಟ್ಟು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಇಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಭಾಳ ಜನ ನಾವು ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇರ್ ಕಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಯಜಮಾನ್ಗಳು ಕ್ಲೀನಾಗಿ ಹೊಡಿರಪ್ಪ, ಆಗಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲೀನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡೋರು ಮಿಷಿನ್ನು. ಭಾಳ ಜನ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೂ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಇದು ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಕಟ್ಟು, ಹೇರ್ ಕಟ್ಟು. ಯಾರು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಅದು? ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಮೇ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, see, even in Kannada language, I listen, because in the university campus, if you come, everybody will be, what macha anta no. What is this macha? That's the influence of radio. See, always I tell my students, they are heading all over radio channels, mast maja madi. What is this? Everybody likes it, because people, they go on imitating whatever your radio jockey uses, whatever language he uses, knowingly or unknowingly, you go on imitating. I think when Prem produced one film, he made a song in Kannada, Vadi 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 Badi 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 Kadi Kadi Kadi. So we were all objecting, because we come from media, and we said, hey, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಈ ಥರ violence, what is your long, what is your machu, what is this film and violence and all these things. See, the capability of media, listening a song through your FM, listening a song, watching your song through on television. First time it irritated me, second time, third time, 10th time, I myself started singing the song, Vadi 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 Vadi. That is the power of media. Whether you may like it or not. ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಿರಿಕಿರಿ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಲೂಸು, ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಲೂಸು, ಇಟ್ ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಯು ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್, ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಮೇ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. See the lyrics of the film song. It makes people imitate. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೇ ನೀವು ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗ್ತೀರ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರೋಪಕಾರಿ ಜೋಕೆ, ಅದು ಕಾಪಿ ಚೀಟಿ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಹುಡುಗರೆಲ್ಲ ಜೋಕೆ ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಇನ್ನೆಂಥದ್ದು ಸಾಂಗ್, ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಎಂಥದ್ದು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಸಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಲುಗು ಡಬ್ಬಿಂಗು, ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಫಿಲ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇನೋ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದೊಂದು ಡಾನ್ಸ್, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಪ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ಸು ಅಂದರೆ ಏನೋ ಕತ್ತಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಎಂಥದ್ದೋ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಅದು ಈ ಥರ. ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ imitation. I think you agree with me. Media has the capability of making people imitate. The third one is, media sets the agenda for the next generation. ಮುಂದಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೆ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ತನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಸೂಚಿಯನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತದೆ. ಯು ಮೇ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್. in 50s, when I think Putana produced Belli Moda, there was the lyrics of the song, Devaru Neevu Dasi Nanu. That was the culture then. ಅವತ್ತಿನ ನೀವು ಪುಟ್ಟಣ ಕಣಗಾಲ್ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಅದು ಹೊಂದೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಪುಟ್ಟಣ ಕಣಗಾಲ್ ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರ್ಸಾರಪ್ಪ ಹಾಡೋ, ದೇವರು ನೀವು ದಾಸಿಯು ನಾನು, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಆ ಕಾಲ. ಅದು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಲಿರಿಕ್ಸೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್? ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್? Agenda setting in the sense, see, nowadays, we never used to listen to a word called divorce. Divorce, divorce. So now it has been legalized. Whose contribution is this? It is setting an agenda for the next generation. Ekta Kapoor ka sabhi agenda, divorce, hero, heroine, 5 hero, 1 hero, 5 heroes, 1 heroine, itara concepts. So it's becoming legalized at every point of time. So after looking into the potentials of media, then what will be the impact of media on society? And please don't look into only the negative parts. My dear friends, please don't forget the fact, the influence of media, it's double-edged. Media, you have positive factors, you have negative factors. Most of the time, while criticizing media, what we do, we just look into only the negative points. But there are positive points also. What is the impact of media on society? Definitely, you have quite a lot of impact. There's no doubt about it. The contribution of media in the transformation of society, contribution of media in making people think in the positive way. See, for example, only recently, see, most of the time now whenever we comment, we will be commenting on only TV news channels and concepts, this and that. But most of the time we forget the fact that media's contribution in health communication. After COVID, what are the do's and don'ts? Who told you? How to get vaccinated? Who told you? See, the amalgamation of media, we have what is called the concept of convergence. Convergence. It need not be only TV or radio. Convergence ಅಂದರೆ ಏನೋ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಸಂಗಮ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ರೇಡಿಯೋ, TV, new media. So it is the contribution of media. We have positive factors also. If you just look into the post-independence scenario, my dear friends, I think most of your generation, you do not know. After 47, 50s, 60s, India, we were facing shortage of food grains. We had what is called All India Radio, Akashvani. Akashvani became the friend of the farmers. Indian farmers were never used to using new technology, your tractors, your pesticides, fertilizer, good seeds. So, All India Radio became the friend of the farmer. And after 2 decades, India was in a position to produce food grains, which we call it as Green Revolution. Green Revolution is the contribution of All India Radio. Please don't forget this. That is the impact of radio. That is the impact of media on the society. Later on, we had a lot of shortage of milk production, Operation Flood. Kshira Kranti ಆಯಿತು ಈ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಸಿರು ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಆಯಿತು. There is a contribution of All India Radio. This, please don't forget this. That is a contribution of media. Earlier, this country we used to suffer with leprosy. We used to suffer with polio. Who did this? Which campaign eradicated pulse polio? I think it is the contribution of media. Pulse polio. Now, there are very, very few cases. There may be, if you just look into the development communication, the concept of polio gradually has disappeared. Who did this? Who educated the population? Who told you when will be the polio drops given to the concerned children? What age group? Who has answered your questions? See, that is the media. There is the positive influence of media on the society. See, basically, the concept of development. Media plays the role of a catalyst in the process of development. ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ವೇಗವರ್ಧಕದ ಪಾತ್ರವನ್ನು ವಹಿಸ್ತದೆ. Media plays the role of a catalyst in the process of development. That at every point of time we should not forget. See, there are quite a lot of factors which has definitely influenced. That's why repeatedly I am telling you, media consumption, media technology, media reach, media credibility, these are all very important factors which we may have to look into when we talk of the contribution of media to the society. Basically, it contributes for the development. Media contributes for the development. It makes people think. It influences our culture. It influences our language. And whenever we have a campaign of empowering the girl child, every girl should go to school. So I think the campaigns were very successfully carried out by the Indian media. There is no doubt about it. So there are quite a lot of factors of that kind. Contribution to education field, contribution to science. Say, for example, scientific temperament. What to do, what not to do. Health communication. And the concept of developing particular areas. Distribution of river water. And employment. Where will you get information about employment? That is also through media. Whether you may get it through WhatsApp, whether you may get it as a newspaper advertisement, you may look into a television advertisement, or you can go through employment news. But how will you get the information? See, dissemination of information and making people participate in the process of development. ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಮಹಾನ್ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. That is a great contribution to the society. Great contribution to the society. See, for example, a farmer, if he grows a fruit or a flower or a vegetable, who will tell the farmer what rate it has? So it can be business communication, it can be commerce communication, it can be a business page. See, at every point of time, say for example, ರೈತ, ನಾನು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೂ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದೀನಪ್ಪ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಲಾರಿ ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೂ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆ. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ರೇಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು? At least you have the mobile with you. You can talk to people. Through WhatsApp you may get a lot of details. Earlier days, I am talking of 60s, 70s, 80s, there the newspapers, they used to search for newspapers. And ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ, ಚಿನ್ನದ ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ ರೇಟು ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಸಿ, and there are very important fields where media has a positive contribution for the development of this society. So Indian tradition ನಾವೇನಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಮಗೆ ಏರ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಹಳೆ ಭಾರತೀಯರು, ನಾನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೋಟ್ ಗೀಟು ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಪಂಚ ಗಿಂಚೆ ಉಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾತ ಮುತ್ತಾಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗಿರೋರು, ಕಾಟನ್ ಪಂಚೆ ಉಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಜುಬ್ಬ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಜುಟ್ಟು, ನಾನು ಸಣ್ಣ ಹುಡುಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಜಡ ಹಾಕಿದ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ. ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೂ ಮುಡ್ಸೋರು ನಾನು ಸಣ್ಣ ಹುಡುಗ ಇದ್ದಾಗ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಂಗಾಯ್ತಿದೆಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬಂತು? ಹೂ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್? ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಮೇಯರ್ ಮುತ್ತಣ್ಣ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬಂತು. ರಾಜ್ಕುಮಾರ್ ಜುಟ್ಟು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಜುಟ್ಟು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆಯೋ, ವೆದರ್ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ ಅನ್ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ಲಿ, at every point of time, even the language for example, at every point of time it has an influence. But what I am trying to tell you is, discussing about the new television channels, your breaking news, the concepts, sensationalism, the code of ethics, these are at different points of time that can be discussed in detail. But here I just want you to very clearly understand, media also has a very positive contribution. Media has a very positive contribution also. They're building this nation, there's no doubt about it. When the Indian Constitution came into existence in 1950, I think Baba Saheb Ambedkar gave us the power of right of expression. ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರು ಅವರು ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ. So that right of expression is responsible for my speech today. See, in a democratic setup, whenever you have free media, whenever you have a very healthy media, definitely it has a lot of contribution. Especially, I don't know how many of you, I think yesterday I was teaching and one of my students asked me, sir, how right is it to tell us that to disclose the COVID deaths will not affect the other patients? Anta. See, in media what happens, you have a very important saying, facts are sacred but comment is free. ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಮರೆಮಾಚೋ ತಪ್ಪು, ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿರ್ಭಯವಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, there is no doubt about it. But as a communicator, because many of you may enter media tomorrow, as a communicator, what to give, when to give, how to give, how much to give, these are some of the basic questions which you have to very clearly understand. As a communicator, if I think it is not in the interest of the society, if it has a negative impact on the society, I think I have, even my code of ethics will permit me to delay the transmission of information. That's there. So, the impact of media at every point of time. See, for example, I repeatedly tell my students, quite a lot of our students, they are sitting there in different television channels, and what they do is, they start breaking the news. In breaking news, ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ರೈಲು ಅಪಘಾತ 70 ಸಾವು, ಒಡ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ನಾವು. See, as a communicator, it is none of my business to create confusion and ambiguity among the readers, listeners and viewers. ಕೇಳುಗರು, ವೀಕ್ಷಕರು ಮತ್ತು ಓದುಗರಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊಂದಲವನ್ನುಂಟು ಮಾಡುವುದು ನನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸವಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್. ಇನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ರೈಲು ಅಪಘಾತ 70 ಸಾವು, 60 ಸಾವು, 50 ಸಾವು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಇವನು ಹಣೆ ಚಚ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆಯನ್ನು ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟರು ರೈಲಲ್ಲಿ, ಇವನು ಅವಾಗಿಂದ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನ ಕತೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಪ್ಪ? ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ರೈಲು ಮೈಸೂರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ರೈಲ, ಹುಬ್ಳಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ರೈಲ, ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನ್ ರೈಲ, ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್ ರೈಲ, ಹರಿಯಾಣ ರೈಲ, ಯಾವ ರೈಲು? ಇವನು ಹಣೆಯೇ ಚಚ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನೀನು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋ, ನೀನು BP ಆಗಿ. ಸಿ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ರಾಯಪುರದ ಬಳಿ ರೈಲು ಅಪಘಾತ ಯಾವುದೋ ಉತ್ತರ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ. ಇವನು ಅವಾಗ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ರಾಯಪುರ ಅಂದಾಗ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗೋದು ಅವನು. See, that is not our business. See, any communicator for that matter, see, at every point of time, all these confusions, it happens. But you should be very, very careful. Very, very careful. So, how do you consume the media content? ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ವಸ್ತು ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? How you take it? See, in the social media, I think all of you are very well aware, and you are all more experts than me on social networking sites. All of you are exposed. So, what to take, what not to take, how to consume, how to believe, and now you have a concept of false news. See, I don't agree with the international experts when they use word false news. News and false, two words cannot go together. You call it as misinformation, disinformation, you can call it with any other word. As media people, you should be very, very careful while using a word. ನಾನು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ತಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸುಳ್ಳಾಗೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್? ಸುದ್ದಿಯನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಿಸ್ತೀರಿ? ಇವ್ರು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಅವನ ಅಮೇರಿಕನ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ. ಸಿ, ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎರಡೂ ಪದಗಳು ಇಟ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಗೋ. ಇಫ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಸೊ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಹಿತಿ, ಡಿಸ್ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಬಳಸಿ, ನಮ್ದೇನು ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ದೆ, ಇವ್ರು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಈ ಥರ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈವನ್ during COVID, they started using a word social distancing, which is a very wrong usage so far as Indian concept is concerned. ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಅಂತರವನ್ನು ಕಾಯಿರಿ. ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಅಂತರ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೈರಾರ್ಕಿಕಲ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಅಂತರ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್. ಅದು ದೈಹಿಕ ಅಂತರವನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡಿ, ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ತಪ್ಪು ಪ್ರಯೋಗ ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ವರ್ಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಆಯ್ತು ಅವ್ನು ಪ್ಲೂರಲ್ಲೋ. ಸುದ್ದಿನೇ, ಸುದ್ದಿ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್. ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಗಳು, ಇವು ನಾವೇ ಬಳಸಿ. ವೈ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯು ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇನ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ವಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. That will have a negative contribution on the society. Please don't forget the fact. Media, the functioning of media, the impact of the language which you use, what is right, what is wrong. See, late 80s, I still remember, in USSR president, he had visited Bangalore. So I was a reporter. In Russia, Gorbachev, USSR-na Vibhakta Soviet Union-na Adhyakshuru, he came to Bangalore, Gorbachev. So in Kannada, how to write Gorbachev? How do you pronounce Gorbachev in Russian? See, a newspaper like Prajavani, Deccan Herald or Saint Karnataka, Kannada Prabha, whenever they tried to use a word that becomes legalized for decades, centuries. So we called an expert in Russian. We asked him how to pronounce Gorbachev. Then we coined a word in Kannada. We tried to use the spelling in English. And even today, you have the same usage. That is the capability of media. That is the contribution of media to the society. That doesn't mean to say that destroying the composition of a language is not the responsibility of the media. Preservation of the language, preservation of the culture, and telling us about our nation, the patriotism, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ನನ್ನ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ನನ್ನ ನೆಲದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಭಿಮಾನ ಮೂಡಿಸುವುದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಕೊಡುಗೆ. See, one song will tell you everything. ನಾವಾಡುವ ನುಡುವೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿ, ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ನಾವಾಡುವ ನುಡಿಯೇ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿ ಹಾಡು. ಈವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ದ ಮೆಸೇಜ್. ಕೊಡುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಸಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಭಾಷಿಕರಾಗ್ರಿ, ಆದರೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಹೌದಪ್ಪ, ನನ್ನ ಭಾಷೆ, ನನ್ನ ನಾಡು, ನನ್ನ ನೆಲ. ಸಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮರ್ತು ನಮ್ದೇನೋ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಹೌದು, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ನೇಷನ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. Media has the capability of recalling things what has happened. And most of us, what we do is, we always say, 75 years, we are celebrating 75 years of Indian independence. And every leader of the country, the elders, freedom fighters, all the prime ministers, all the presidents, they have contributed on their own. But today's generation will come and ask us, 75 years, who has done what? Without the whole country working for you, working very hard, and how do you have your mobile in your pockets today? Your generation is one of the luckiest generations. We never had this technology. We never had these roads. We never had this transportation. To reach Bangalore, we used to travel 10 hours, 12 hours in a hot water bus. Diesel, we used to vomit quite a lot of times. This generation is very, very lucky because we have the contribution of all. Forget about your political inclination. Forget about your political party. Forget your everything. Apart from the political decisions, it is the media which has contributed to the field of development. This you should never forget. See, for example, All India Radio had excellent positive programs. And even the newspapers, even today, I think you can see the contribution. But I think repeatedly I keep on telling you, whenever there is a journalism class, there will be more questions on our news channel. What is right, what is wrong, ethical, unethical. But we forget the fact that there is a lot of contribution of media. And how do you think that Kannada literature has grown? Where was the concept of short story in Kannada? Where was the concept of a novel in Kannada? I think the contribution of Kannada newspapers, their supplements for the growth of Kannada literature, for the growth of Kannada language is something great. And even the unification of linguistic states. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ನೀವು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲೇಟಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ. ಸಿ, ಭಾಷಾವಾರು ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷಿಕರೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು, ಕನ್ನಡದ ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಬಿ ಆರ್ ಪಂತುಲು ಅವತ್ತೇ ಹಾಡು ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಏಕೀಕರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಯ್ತು ಇವತ್ತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲ್? ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಎ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್, I think still we could have had a lot of polio patients, we could have had a lot of leprosy patients. And the concept, there are quite a lot of concepts. Now, even a villager will know if the child is suffering from dysentery or anything of that kind. Immediately they will give more and more liquid. Whose contribution is this? That is the positive factors, for positive content of media. So there are quite a lot of things of that kind. And it can be pollution, it can be environment, it can be urbanization, it can be. And who will take the problems to the respective governments? Whenever there is a problem, whenever people are suffering, I think again, and most of us, we always comment on the functioning of media, my dear friends. Please don't forget the fact, if you just look into the history of this country, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of ministers have resigned. A lot of scandals have come out. Whose contribution is this? That's the contribution of media. So, you keep these 3 points in mind at every point of time. Please don't forget the fact that any democratic setup, a country like India needs a very healthy media. The concept of commercialization, concept of privatization, concept of sensationalism, concept of exaggeration, all these things are there. But still, a country like India, we need a very healthy media. Please don't forget it. We have the contribution, maybe it can be 60 or 40 or 50, 50. We have and how you take it. See, whenever you have a message, how you receive it. See, there was a film, Hindi film called Jugnu, sometime in 60s or 70s, Dharmendra, Jugnu, there was a film, where he steals a diamond fish. How do you consume it? You go sit in the film theater, see that and enjoy and come back. Some people, they try to imitate, and there were 32 dacoits in the whole of the country, all stealing diamonds throughout the country using the same technology. So how you receive the message, and it may have a positive impact, it may have a negative impact. And sometimes you will have a mass hysteria where we should be very, very careful. So even in the coming days maybe, and please don't forget the fact that we have what is called the era of experimentation. ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ನ್ಯೂನತೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಾರಣ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಭಾರತೀಯ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯೀಕರಣದ ಭರಾಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಯೋಗಗಳು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಈಗ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರಿಸೀವರ್ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ದ ಓನರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಆಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಇಟ್, ಆಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಇಟ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವೈವ್. Once if you start rejecting it, no media will survive. Media cannot survive without the support of the population. That you should never forget. So, the final point is a healthy media can create a healthy society. That you should never forget. But we are in the passing phase. Maybe gradually, see, if you just look into the growth of OTTs in the past 3 years, penetration of internet to the rural areas, you will definitely understand Indian media industry. It has a new era which has started. I think entertainment industry will much strengthened, and gradually, and you have what is called the public service media. Commercialized media and public service media. These are two important concepts. I think maybe in the coming days, with all the positive and negative aspects, with all the reach, with all the technology, with all the changing, because technology keeps on changing. Today's technology will not be there another 1 month. Gradually it will change, there's no doubt about it. With all the technology, with all the limitations, but I don't think the whole concept of communication process has changed. It is samvahana kriya badalagide annadu nanu oppadilla. It's a new technology, it has fastened the process, delivery of the content has been fastened. At the receiving end, you have the more and more population, but gradually it will have a positive and negative impact. But definitely, media has the influence on at every point of time. Definitely, it has the influence, it has the contribution, it has the capability, and finally, even in the functioning of the democratic process, it can mold public opinion. Who is ruling? Who is doing what? And again, and public memory is very short. ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಭಾಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ. ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ, ಹುಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಬೆಕ್ಕಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಬಿಡ್ರಿ ಓಲಿ ಅಂತ, ಪಕ್ಕದಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲೇ ಹುಲಿ 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 ಅಂತ ಓಡೋಗೋದು ಇವನು. That's the psychology of Indians. So media has the capability of recalling. See, this has happened, that has happened. It will automatically mold the public opinion. So maybe in the coming days, still gradually after COVID, I think Indian media industry is gradually it's coming, taking back its position. Maybe in the coming years, I think still the new technology is there to emerge, and it will have an influence at every point of time. It will contribute. Please don't forget the fact contribution can be positive or negative, but definitely it will have the influence on the society. Without media, in the absence of media, I don't think we can achieve any development. So for that, our slogan should be, it's a healthy media which can create a healthy society. So we have to strengthen the healthy media in the coming days, because why I am telling you all these things is because in spite of your commercialization, in spite of your privatization, ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇಗ ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ, ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಾವು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಪಲ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಸಿ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ media teacher. In spite of your privatization, commercialization, you join any media, you go to any institution, but please don't forget the fact that you have the social responsibility towards your nation. You have the social responsibility towards the society which has given you everything. This country, this land has given us everything. ನಾವು ಕುಡಿಯೋ ಗಾಳಿ, ನಾವು ಕುಡಿಯೋ ನೀರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ನೆಲದ ಋಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲಿದೆ. ಬರೀ ಇದು ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್, ಬರೀ ಇದೇನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು, ನೀವೇನು ಕೊಟ್ರಿ, ನನಗೇನು ಕೊಟ್ರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿನ್ನ ಟುಮಾರೋ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಂಪವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ರೀಚ್ ಎ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್, 5 minutes ಸಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಥಿಂಕ್, ವಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ, ಭಾರತಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಸರ್ವ್. ಸಿ, ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲೈಸೇಷನ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲೀವ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅರ್ನ್. In your position, how can you develop this country? How can you build strong India should be your challenge. Only then you media ಓದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಸಾರ್ಥಕ. Building strong India and making India a superpower should be the agenda of every Indian in this country, where media will have its contribution, it will have an influence, there is no doubt about it. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir. It's a very enlightening and eye-opening speech. So we have entered the field of media. ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅಂತ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಇದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆವರಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. So now the interaction session, anybody can ask relevant and inquisitive questions that should help others. Okay, so I request volunteers to pass on the hand mic to enable them to ask questions. Your question should be brief and to the point. Dr. Ravi will answer it. Thank you.
Check. Good morning, sir. My name is Abhinav. I'm a second year BA student. So, from the very start, we have learned that media should be honest and unbiased. But in the current day scenario, most of this there's a lot of allegations on media to be running propaganda, to be running agenda, as you said in your speech as well. So as upcoming journalism students and journalists, what can we do to uphold the integrity of media? That's my question.
So I think you have asked me a question on the media ethics. See, basically, academically, whenever we teach, we always tell, any profession for that matter, it should be ethical. That's why I raise a very important point where I said it's a social responsibility theory. Agenda setting, your partiality, sensationalism, exaggeration, over commercialization, your concept of paid news, your concept of editorials, all these things are out of the ethical framework. But most of the time what happens is we also should look into the commercialization part also. See whether paid news is right or not, how to survive, what is the population of this country and what is the circulation of daily newspapers or weeklies. And most of the time the industry is also suffering. But it doesn't mean to say that you have to compromise with ethics and continue to run our media organization. That's not the way. But still, I think I told you there are positive and negative factors. But if you are unethical, what happens? The first theory in media studies is, unless you enjoy the credibility of the population, no media can survive. And if you go out of the ethics, people themselves will reject and you will lose your position. That's all. But all these concepts are out of the framework of the code of ethics. That is not right. But sometimes if we go on discussing on this, and if you don't follow code of ethics, likely, see for example, the credibility, see if you believe a printed word, then you read a copy of a newspaper. If you believe a TV channel, then you watch it. Otherwise, if you don't believe, automatically you will lose your existence. Following unethical means, see what Mahatma Gandhi said. Mahatma Gandhi very clearly said, a newspaper which doesn't enjoy the support of the population should not publish itself. That's what he said before independence. It means to say that it should stand on its own. It should be self-sufficient. Don't depend upon anybody. You have to publish a newspaper based on your circulation. So there are violations of code. There is no doubt about it. But repeated violation of code of ethics will question the credibility of the media institution, and it will definitely affect its existence. There is no doubt about it. There we should be very careful. And I don't say that tomorrow, if you, after finishing your journalism, if you go and start working as a reporter in a TV channel, don't go on questioning him with the ethical part, because you will not. Whenever you get a chance, see to it you do justice to social responsibility. Because you have to survive, you have to get the salary, you have to work. Is it not? But whenever you get an opportunity, that should be our formula. Okay? Have I answered your question? Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Seriously, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. So, like you are talking about the quantity, number of channels over the year, the income of the channels or the industry that has grown over the year. What about the quality of the content, sir? What is the quality of the content that the news industries are serving?
Quality?
Quality of the content. Quality of the content, for example, for if a news channel, they speak about the things which forms a opinion, a negative opinion in the society. For example, if you switch on a TV channel in the morning, they will be speaking something communal. And it will be, most of the things are like...
I think in my lecture I raised this point. I told you, if there is a discussion, I think every questions will be from the TV channel. That's why I made it very clear. You have a positive and a negative thing. If you want to look into the content of Indian media as a whole, forget about all these agendas. That's what I answered his question. Agenda setting, whatever they want. But if you look into the content of TV channels or magazines or newspapers in India, we are inferior to none. We are dominating the globe. These are passing remarks, that's all. I don't think...
Sir, with regard to like we are the largest democratic country in the world, but among 180 countries in the Freedom of Press Index, we are 150th. What's your opinion on this, sir?
I have my personal opinion of that. I question the credibility of that research. I don't think we are so low. I really do not know how they conducted research and all those things. Recently, there is a very serious discussion on that. We have questioned the credibility of that research, and that can we as an Indian, I don't accept that place in India. We are not that bad. So still we are on the top. And maybe pressurized research agencies might have given you that place. Okay. I have questioned the credibility of that research. So I don't accept with the fact that we are so low. No, we are not that worse. India still we are on the top. There is no doubt about it. See, if that was not the case, how do you think a lot of ministers have gone home? See, from the past 20 years, what is the contribution of media? It was scams and scandals. How many ministers have resigned? How many of them have gone to jail? Imagine, If there is no right of expression and if media is 100% polluted, how do you think that all these people went behind bars?
And that's there.
That's
sir,
why I
but,
told you 50-50.
nowadays it is more towards the negative side. That was my opinion, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. See, the basic problem, basic problem is the political ownership of media. See, since independence, a lot of newspapers were owned by political parties. Fortunately or unfortunately, the whole media came as a boon to Indian concepts. Film came as a boon, television came as a boon, and when transnational television entered, all the political parties started grabbing, and that's why they have weakened our public service media. And each political party, they have their own channel, they have their own election symbol, and that's also one of the reasons. The political ownership of media is also one of the reasons for quite a lot of problems of Indian media industry. Any other questions?
Sir, Bharat Anta and 6 MBA. Sir, nowadays, comparing to newspapers, mass media like losing its credibility, especially. So, what is your opinion about this?
How do you say it's losing its credibility?
Sir, like ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಓಕೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟೆಲಿಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ನ್ಯೂಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ಜನ ನಂಬಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಓಕೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಸೇಮ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಇದು ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅಂತ ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಹೌದು.
See, we are running a 24 hours news channel. What is the challenge before a communicator? See, imagine, if I am a communicator, I want all of you to watch my channel. Jana ಏನು ಸಿ ಈ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಸೆಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನೋಡಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಅಪಘಾತ ಒಂದು ಸಾವು ಒಂದು ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಕಾರು ಎಗರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಪಲ್ಟಿ ಹೊಡೆದು ಇಲ್ಲದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಹೌದಾ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಲ್ಟಿ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಅಂತ ನಾನು. ಸಿ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್, ಅದನ್ನು ದೇ ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್. But once if you know that there is a false news in this channel, from tomorrow you will not watch. Again you will go back to the newspapers. See, when Moraji Desai was the Prime Minister, Doordarshan announced the wrong death message of Jayaprakash Narayan. From then, Doordarshan lost its credibility. When Indira Gandhi was assassinated in the year 1984, Indians were asking everybody, ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಹತ್ಯೆ ಆಯ್ತಂತೆ, ಬಿ ಬಿ ಸಿಲಿ ಬಂತ ಅದು ನಿಜಾನಾ? ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ವಿಚ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಬೈ ಬಿ ಬಿ ಸಿ. ದೋ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಓನ್ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಬಟ್ ಜನ ಏನಂದ್ರು ಬಿ ಬಿ ಸಿಲಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಂಬಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಲೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಡೌಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್.
So thank you very much. I request our secretary, Professor S.N. Nagaraj Reddy, to address the gathering. After his address, he is going to release a small documentary made by our students, that is impact of mass media on society. He will release it after his speech. Thank you.
At the outset, apologize for having come very late. Whatever may be the reason, I was caught in the Siddhapur Ashokapilla. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಊರ ಹಬ್ಬ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. It took 2 hours to travel 200 meters. Anyway, that apart, it was called unaware. Now, I did not know. Anyway, I have been participating in the workshops, seminars organized by the Department of Journalism. And particularly very happy and proud because Professor Jaisimha has been arranging these, apart from the classroom lectures, these workshops and the lectures by the experts, and all of you are benefiting not only from the classroom lectures, but the lectures like this, delivered by the eminent people. I've been listening to only 5-10 minutes question and answer sessions. I could visualize what transpired during the last 1 hour or so. And since I was not here, I'm not able to comment on that. Anyway, one thing is sure, the media is concerned. As Dr. Ravi pointed out, the print media is, to a larger extent, enjoys credibility compared to electronic media. Particularly, as he said, since the newspapers and the TV channels are owned by the political parties, clear? Naturally, what will they deliver? Whatever is favorable to them, they will telecast. But the person, the public, should be, there is a saying, they repeat a lie 100 times, Goebbels' remark. Goebbels was a propaganda minister during the Hitler's regime. Repeat a lie 100 times, it becomes the truth. That is the kind of propaganda is going on in electronic media. The same thing they repeated. Yeah, how many times? Not 1 or 2 times. 50 times, 100 times, over a period of time. That is the danger. Public should be aware that these kind of news, one-side news, is not palatable to us, for a democracy particularly. They let them present both the sides, both the versions. It's up to the person to choose, form an opinion. And one thing I appeal to you, that today the Indian democracy is at a crossroads, definitely. The danger is that whatever social fabric till today, till few months ago, was protected. That social fabric was a kind of a fabric that accommodated all people from all religions. The kind of propaganda that is going on, feeding us, that every day what's happening in our own state, the Muslims and Hindus who are living in harmony. Yesterday's example, Gadak's, example. There was what is called a Rathostsava in Gadag, Fakireshwara. And all the Muslims and Hindus were participated in hundreds, in thousands. I was very happy to see that, TV news where there was a harmony, understanding, accommodating others. This kind of society we need today. Not the kind of society that they are propagating, where every day there is a conflict, there is a hatred, and all kinds of things. What are we going to benefit? You youngsters, you should realize. What kind of, is it possible for us to drive all the Muslims away from the country? Why should they go out? They are also Indians, as we are, as much as we are. Accommodate them. And that kind of social harmony that is required today, I hope the youngsters will realize the danger that is there in this kind of propaganda, and let them not be swayed by this kind of propaganda. That's all. Thank you very much for having given me this opportunity. ಫೋನ್ ಕೊಡ್ರಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬೇಕಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ.
William Ben Beck says that all of us who professionally use the mass media are the shapers of the society. We can vulgarize that society, we can brutalize it, or we can help lift it onto a higher level. Media's impact on society has both positive and negative effect. Mass media like newspapers, radio and television play the role of acting as a bridge between the government and the people. Let us consider an example. The government decides the price of petrol and diesel will either be increased or decreased. That decision needs to be conveyed to the people. This is done by the media. The media not only inform the people about it but also explain the effect of that decision. By the use of that explanation, people can decide whether the decision taken by the government is right or wrong. Mass media has made the world smaller and closer. The speed of media has resulted in bringing people across the world closer. Let us take an example. When you watch a cricket match between India and another country in England, Australia or New Zealand, live on television, you feel you are part of that crowd in that stadium. Events which are happy or sad happening anywhere can be seen live. Sometimes we feel that the entire world is one big family. You might have heard the term global village. It means that the whole world is shrinking and becoming a village. Wherever we go to any part of the world, we see the same products such as soft drinks, television, washing machine, refrigerator, etc. and the same type of advertisements. Similarly, the World Wide Web and Internet have brought the people and countries much closer. Just as a coin has two sides, the impact of mass media also can be negative or positive. Let's look into the negatives. Number 1. Entertainment has become the main component of mass media. This affects the primary objective of media, to inform and educate the people. Number 2. Media promote violence. Studies have provided that violence shown on television and cinema have negative effects on children. Number 3. Mass media promote the desire in people to buy and own products that are advertised through the media but which may not be essential for them. The negative effects of mass media on society can lead people towards poverty, crime, nudity, violence, and mental and physical health disorders, and others as such severe outcomes. For example, mob hitting innocents by getting carried away from the rumors spread on the internet has been common. These unauthorized news headlines are the biggest example of the negative impact of mass media on society. The cases of children killing innocent by acquiring weapons are considered as one of the major negative effects of mass media on the children, as they usually get carried away by provoking news stories, action movies, and games. Does it mean the mass media only influence audiences negatively? No. There are also situations where positivity is the result of mass media influence. For example, the people helping each other in the situations of natural disaster encourage humanity and empathy in children and adults. So more volunteers come forward to help the needy ones. Also, the quiz-based games, educational news broadcast, and similar programs emphasize the positive effects of mass media which increase literacy in their audiences. Also, one of the positive impacts of mass media on society is their right to information. Today's generation is much more educated and aware of their rights, and that helps them gain various personal and professional benefits. People usually come across different pieces of information via direct or indirect sources. But in any case, the mass media influence is clearly visible in society. From educated to illiterate people are part of this wave, and that's why the responsibilities of the media people are controlling authorities increase. They have to be more careful about the timing and approach of conveying news. The positive or negative effects of mass media can be really crucial in some cases. This is one of the major reasons citizens face situations of news broadcast and internet services ban during some sensitive situations in the city or state. The influence of mass media has an effect on many aspects of human life, which can include voting a certain way, individual views and beliefs, or skewing a person's knowledge of a specific topic due to being provided false information. The overall influence of mass media has increased drastically over the years and will continue to do so as the media itself develops. As mass media evolve, media criticism also often evolve and grow in strength. During times of media change, with new forms of journalism, new media formats, new media markets, new ways of addressing media markets and new media technologies. There are several scholarly studies which addresses media and its effects. Brandt and Zillman defined media effects as the social, cultural, and psychological impact of communicating via mass media. Mahatma Gandhiji, apart from being a national leader and social reformer, Gandhiji was a great communicator. More than anyone else, he recognized that communication is the most effective tool to shape opinion and mobilize popular support. He was successful because he had a latent skill in communication. Gandhiji was associated with 6 journals, for 2 of which he was the editor. His first paper, Indian Opinion, was started in South Africa. In order to ventilate the grievances of Indians and mobilize public opinion in their favor, Gandhiji started writing and giving interviews to newspapers. He focused on open letters and letters to editor, but soon realized that occasional writings and the hospitality of newspaper were inadequate for the political campaign he had launched. He needed a mouthpiece to reach out to the people. So, in June 1903, he launched Indian Opinion. It served the purpose of a weekly newsletter which disseminated the news of the week among the Indian community. It became an important instrument of education. Through the columns of the newspaper, Gandhiji tried to educate the readers about sanitation, self-discipline, and good citizenship. Being a responsible citizen, we should make sure to cross-verify any news coming across before spreading that to the others, as it can create a serious impact on society.
So I request all the dignitaries to come on the dais. ಎರಡು ನಿಮಿಷ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ವೋಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Thank you very much. Now, the vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of Journalism and the National College, Jayanagar. I thank Dr. B.K. Ravi for his enlightening talk and useful interaction with our students. I request Professor S.N. Nagaraj Reddy to present him the bouquet and honor him on behalf of our college. Thank you very much. I thank Professor S.N. Nagaraj Reddy, our secretary, and the guiding force behind all our professional activities. I request Dr. Kamala Madam to present this bouquet. Thank you. I thank Dr. Y.C. Kamala, principal of our college, a source of encouragement for all of us. I request Professor Nagaraj Reddy to present this bouquet. I thank Professor H.C. Bellad, our secretary, Students' Council, vice principal. And I request Guru Naganandan to come on the stage, who directed this documentary within 2 days. So I thank all the teachers and students who are present here, and I request the dignitaries for the group photograph.
This program would not happen without Jayasima sir. So, on behalf of students and the department, I thank Jayasima sir. Journalism students ಮುಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಫೋಟೋಗೆ journalism students ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಫೈನಲ್ ಇಯರ್